Since Repair Clinic encourages you to perform this repair safely, a warning icon will appear when you should use caution. To replace the blower motor in this Frigidaire Range Vent Hood, you will need a Phillips head screwdriver, a small flathead screwdriver, a 2.5mm Allen wrench, a 7mm nut driver, a small awl, and an adjustable wrench. For this procedure, you will need to fully uninstall the vent hood. Before you begin, be sure to turn off the power supply to the hood. Use the Phillips head screwdriver to unthread the left and right side screws, securing the upper chimney to the upper mounting bracket. Slide the chimney down into the lower chimney. Then have an assistant help to lift both sections up to detach them from the lower mounting bracket. Detach the venting from the damper. Unthread the two screws securing the junction box cover. Remove the cover and note the orientation of the power and grounding wires. Untwist the wire nuts to separate the power wires. Use the 7mm nut driver to unthread the nut to release the grounding wire. Pull the wires out of the junction box. Now unthread the 4 mounting screws securing the canopy glass using the 2.5mm Allen wrench. With the screws unthreaded, have an assistant help you to remove the glass. Pull the right side lever down to release the grease filter. Fully unthread the 2 lower mounting screws securing the appliance to the wall. Next, loosen the 2 upper mounting screws. With the screws loosened, you can lift the vent hood up and out to remove. With the front of the hood facing down, set it on a towel or blanket. Now unthread the 2 rear outside screws, securing the stainless steel panel to the cabinet. Next, unthread the 2 sets of nuts and bolts in the middle. Now unthread the 8 screws securing the panel to the base of the appliance. Rotate the two light bulbs counterclockwise to remove them from their holders. You can now detach the panel. Unthread the screws to release the selector switch assembly so you can set the panel aside. Now rotate the two lamp holder assemblies to release them from the cabinet. Unthread the two left side screws securing the blower assembly. Unthread the two right side screws as well. Next, unthread the two screws securing the blower assembly bracket to the rear mounting plate. Use the 7mm nut driver to unthread the nut to release the blower assembly grounding wire. Using the Phillips head screwdriver, unthread the 4 screws to release the terminal block cover. Pull the terminal blocks out. Then you should release the potentially stored electrical charge in the capacitor to avoid injury. You can do this by placing a screwdriver blade across the terminals. Note the orientation of the blower motor harness wires. Then use the small flathead screwdriver to loosen the screws to disconnect the wires. Disconnect the 2 wires from the capacitor. Maneuver the blower assembly out of the cabinet so you can reach the side where the blower wheel and motor are attached to. Now unthread the 3 screws securing the blower cover using the Phillips head screwdriver. Lift the blower motor and wheel out of the housing. Use the needle nose pliers to depress the tabs to detach the grill from the cover. Rotate the motor mounting bracket counterclockwise to release the bracket from the cover. Support the blower wheel and use the adjustable wrench to loosen the nut. With the nut loosened, you can slide the blower wheel off the motor shaft. Cut the zip ties securing the wires, and you can fully remove the old motor. To prepare the new blower motor for installation, you should use a wire nut, cap, or tape to cover the end of the unused blue wire. Next, use the 7mm nut driver to unthread the 2 nuts securing the motor mounting bracket to the old motor. Feed the new motor wires through the hole in the mounting bracket and align the bracket on the motor mounting posts. Align the grounding wire on the appropriate post and thread the nut to secure. Be sure to align the washer on the other mounting post before threading the second nut. Reinstall the blower cover by first inserting the motor wires into the appropriate slot. Align the cover on the motor mounting bracket, then rotate the bracket clockwise to lock the cover into place. You can use the small awl to help hold the cover in position. Align the grill on the cover and snap it into place. Slide the blower wheel over the motor shaft and keep the wheel a 1/4 inch away from the cover as you thread and tighten the nut. Position the blower wheel and motor in the housing and thread the 3 screws to secure. Reseat the blower assembly in the cabinet. Connect the 2 appropriate wires to the capacitor terminals. Insert the remaining wires into the terminal blocks and tighten the screws. Use new zip ties to secure the wires. Reposition the terminal blocks, then align the cover. Rethread the screws to secure the cover. Align the blower assembly grounding wire on the cabinet post. Slide on the washer. Then thread the nut to secure. Fully position the blower assembly and thread the 2 screws to secure the assembly bracket to the rear mounting plate. Thread the 2 left side screws. Thread the 2 right side screws as well. Align the 2 lamp holder assemblies with the holes in the cabinet and rotate both to lock them into place. Realign the selector switch assembly in the stainless steel panel and secure it with the screws. Reposition the panel and rethread the 8 inner mounting screws. Thread the 2 sets of nuts and bolts in the middle to secure the panel to the cabinet. Rethread the 2 outside screws as well. Replace the 2 light bulbs by inserting the terminals into the holders, then rotate clockwise. Reinstall the range vent hood by aligning the rear slots over the upper mounting screws threaded into the wall. Partially tighten the screws to maintain an even gap between the wall and cabinet. Rethread the lower mounting screws. Reinstall the grease filter by aligning the left side tabs with the slots in the hood. Then pull the lever to align the right side. Before you reinstall the canopy glass, confirm the hood gasket is intact and aligned. Reposition the glass. Thread the 4 screws to secure. Avoid over-tightening the screws. Feed the power and grounding wires through the hole in the junction box. Secure the 2 grounding wires with the nut. Join the black wires and use the wire nut to twist the wires together. Do the same to join the white wires together. Replace the junction box cover and secure it with the screws. Attach the venting to the damper. Now align the bottom edge of the lower chimney in the groove between the canopy glass and blower housing cabinet. Hook the lower chimney slots on the lower mounting bracket tabs. Lift the upper chimney section up so it's flush with the ceiling. Then thread the screws to secure the chimney to the upper mounting bracket. Turn the power supply back on, and the range vent hood should be ready for use.